This next presenter that we have is a tremendous individual. It's been great getting to know him. He leads a $7 million regional organization with a 26-person staff. They actually represent a 4-county region of Orange, Seminole, Lake, and Osceola, and the city of Orlando. We call him our local rainmaker, as we highlighted back in January with I-4 Business, and he does make it rain. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome to the stage the CEO of the Orlando Metro EDC, Rick Weddle.
Well, thank you, Jeff. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being here this morning at this important conference. And let me welcome you to Orlando. As economic developers, you understand that the challenges we sometimes face when we come to be taken seriously, try to be taken seriously as a business location, site selection consultants and C-suite executives think they know Florida because they've been to a conference, they've been to play a round of golf, they've been to the beach, they've maybe visited family. But when they come here, they really don't know the half of it, and we find that to be ever so true. In Orlando, we recently launched a new branding campaign designed to get us into the consideration set more often. So I'd like to show you a brief video on just how we're trying to expand our target's perceptions of our community.
Orlando, you don't know the half of it.
Orlando, you don't know the half of it.
Orlando, you don't know the half of it.
Orlando, you don't know the half of it. Orlando, você não sabe nem a metade.
This is Orlando. This is where we believe in magic and fantasies and wishing upon stars and the power of the imagination. This is where we dream, where we think smarter and play harder. So if you think you know all there is to know about Orlando, you're in for a big surprise. Because until you join our community and see all the reasons we're amazing, you don't know the half of it.
I missed the reception last night, but from what I understand, some of you may not even be able to remember the half of it. That campaign launched in December, and we're already seeing important results. Website visits are up, media stories are up, we're seeing leads and real projects start to roll in. And combined with a recent decision on the state's behalf to really fund a meaningful and serious marketing campaign to promote the state as a business location, we all expect to see more results. So now it's my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce to you your Florida Secretary of Commerce and President and CEO of Enterprise Florida. Bill Johnson was appointed by Governor Rick Scott in March of this year to lead the way with Florida's economic development efforts as head of Enterprise Florida and also serve as the Secretary of Commerce. Prior to his new statewide role, Bill completed 35 years of service with the Miami-Dade County government, where he served in a number of executive positions, including 8 years as the director of the Port of Miami. In his long public service career, he provided oversight to the Miami International Airport and management responsibility for a number of very large infrastructure projects, including construction of the American Airlines Arena, where the Miami Heat basketball team plays. Bill has a solid reputation as a troubleshooter, problem solver, and untiring proponent of economic development. During his tenure at the port, he launched one of the most ambitious capital development programs in the port's history, including public-private partnerships as recently completed the Port Miami Tunnel and the deepening of the port's channel, now underway to accommodate supersized cargo vessels that'll begin passing through an expanded Panama Canal in 2016. On the cruise side of the port business, there's just not a part of this business he hasn't done something in that. In the cruise side of the port business, Bill presided over the largest expansion ever of new cruise brands and new cruise vessels, solidifying Port Miami as the cruise capital of the world. During his 8 years at the port, he strengthened the port's financial position, while at the same time securing funding for a $2 billion capital improvement program. In the short time he's been on board, and I've had the occasion to get to know Bill, I can tell you he is accessible and deeply engaged in his business. He has an unbelievable energy and a passion for this state and his job to promote it. Please join me in welcoming our friend and colleague, Bill Johnson.
Well, good morning to everyone. It's great to be with you, and after listening to both Jeff, Bob, and Rick, I truly feel there's not much left for me to say, because I think all three hit the nail on the head. The conversation which they've led off on about the importance of partnership, the importance of collaboration, the importance of working as one, that really will be the theme over the next few minutes in terms of my remarks to you. Also, Rick, I want to congratulate you. Outstanding, if you will, selling the great region of Orlando. Well done, so I congratulate you. I will also say this, as I've traveled the state, especially the large urban areas, whether you're down in Broward County or over in Tampa, Jacksonville with JAQ USA, similar kinds of wonderful marketing pieces that have been produced in different areas of our state that really will help us collectively, all of us in the state, properly put the right spin on Florida. And really that's what I'm here to talk to you again about today. So my thanks to FEDC for the invitation. My thanks to all of you for being in the audience. I send you regards from our governor, Rick Scott. I was on the phone late last evening with the governor. A lot of things happening in our state, a lot of positive things happening in Florida. We've got a governor who's on the road, traveling the nation, traveling the globe. Anyone who knows Rick Scott and who've traveled with our governor know these are really quick trips in and out, but these trips are actually producing tangible results. So we're pleased. I'm pleased to be again with you today to share my thoughts on, and my thoughts on how Florida, our state, Florida, leading the way. And I think we in Florida, those of us in this room, are helping our governor, helping our legislature to lead the way. What I want to talk briefly about is how Enterprise Florida, in my role as the CEO of Enterprise Florida, how we can be your partner in this great venture of ours. As we all know, leadership is not about one person or one organization, but almost always involves a team effort, especially if you want to be successful. A team effort, a collective effort, a shared vision. If I have one message for you here today, it's how we, everyone in this room, can work together to make our state the nation's leader in job generation and growth. That's our opportunity, our shared opportunity. But what is a shared vision? What do I see as the head of Enterprise Florida? I see Florida as a state leading the way to a new era of growth and prosperity for our nation. I see Florida as a model for how the rest of the United States competes in today's changing, fiercely competitive global marketplace. Yes, us, Florida. Are these lofty goals? Some may say yes. I say no. These are obtainable goals. But I always like to think big. And I say to you, why should we here in Florida not think big? I believe that we here in Florida are on the cusp of a new growth and our stature as a competitive and powerful force globally, not just in the United States, but globally. This is Rick Scott's vision of our state, and it's a vision which I hope you share with our governor and with we at EFI. That's why I'm here today. When the governor first asked me to join his team as Secretary of Commerce and the head of Enterprise Florida, he wanted a salesman. It's the first thing he said to me on Christmas Eve. I want somebody to sell this state. I want someone with a loud voice, and certainly, I think you all know I have a loud voice. I think I've met almost everyone in this room so far. I want someone with a loud voice to tell the rest of the nation and to spread the word globally about Florida, the Florida story. And of course, the Florida story, by any measure, we are one of the nation's most attractive, and this is what we sell, one of the nation's most attractive locales for business growth, for business opportunity. But we must tell our story forcefully, and we must work collectively with all of you, all of our partners at EFI, in telling our story. After more than 35 years in public service, and trust me, I loved being in public service. Many of you have heard me say my favorite word in the vocabulary is the word fun. The governor said to me last night, Bill, are we still having fun? Key word, we. Are we still having fun? And the answer, yes, sir, we're having fun. After 35 years in the public sector, I understand the importance of strong ties with elected leaders, the importance of working with our state agencies, the importance of EFI working with Visit Florida and with Chris Hart and with Jesse at DEO, the importance of working with our state FDOT, the importance, the value of public-private partnerships. It is only through such partnerships, through such collaboration, that we will be successful in taking our state to the very next level, the top level. We have a big goal. We have a goal to create 1 million new jobs, private sector jobs, in the next 4 years. Again, is this an overly ambitious goal? I think not. Some might say yes, but I think you have to, again, you must think big. Let me tell you what's happened since March 1st when I assumed my new role. I've been on the road. I think many of you know that because I had the opportunity to spend some quality time with many of you, if not most, practically all of you, around the state. Over the last 5 months, I've traveled nearly 10,000 miles up and down the state of Florida to better understand what's on your mind. What are the issues facing your community? How can we at EFI be a stronger partner with you at the local, regional level? I've seen the beauty of our state, not just the physical beauty, but the beauty of our people, 20 million plus. And I have truly enjoyed the opportunity to meet many of you as our partners. I think now I've visited at least half of the counties in this state. And I have especially enjoyed the opportunity to meet with local PTA members and sheriffs, local elected officials, community economic development leaders, small businesses and big businesses. The opportunity to take helicopters over most of the area of our state. What a unique opportunity to take a helicopter for an hour or so over Orlando and Tampa and all the other beautiful regions of our state. What have I heard on this road tour? Well, pretty much the same. What we're seeing, what I'm hearing is that a number of our communities are doing well. They've come back from the recession of 08, 09. But not all. Some of the smaller rural areas of our state have not yet enjoyed the fruits of the success of the recurrence of, if you will, the economy coming back. Clearly, we recognize all of us about the importance of tourism and what tourism does and brings to the economy of our state as we hit record-setting number of visitors and tourists to the great state of Florida. We're seeing new development, but we also recognize that we need to really focus, especially in the areas that are still hard hit with high rates of unemployment and poverty. Here in Orlando, headquarters to EFI, as in many other parts of our state, whether it's in the Jacksonville region or Tampa, Pinellas County, South Florida, in Palm Beach or Broward or Miami-Dade, the Space Coast, these areas of our states are really doing well. They've clearly come back. We're seeing new skyscrapers, new skylines, which are phenomenal. But what? We don't stop there. We don't stop with a few new buildings. We want more. Some could say, hey, we're being greedy. It's good to be greedy because those new buildings, those new structures provide opportunities for what? More high-paying jobs. So, and let's not forget, just a few years ago, it wasn't long ago that we were losing jobs in the state of Florida. But since Rick Scott has become governor 4.5 years ago, private sector jobs in this state have grown. I think the latest number, Jesse will probably tell you this later, I think the latest number is around 879,000 is the latest number I saw. Private sector jobs in 4.5 years with Governor Scott at the helm. As I said a moment ago, tourism is at record levels. This year we should hit over 100 million visitors to our state, contributing to approximately 24 to 25% of our state sales tax. And of course, I know we all congratulate Will and the team over at Visit Florida, and all the organizations, many of you in this room, who contribute to the success that we all share in making our state the #1 destination in the nation and globally in terms of visitation. Our population continues to grow. It's moving upward. This year we should have 300,000 new Floridians, adding, if you will, importantly to our tax base. We overtook, I think most of you know, New York last year to become the nation's 3rd most populated state. And every single day, 7 days a week, over 800 new people move to our state, adding to the economy, and most importantly, enjoying the quality of life that Florida has to offer. So while some states like New York are losing population, we are blessed as a state which is gaining and will continue to gain if we do what we need to do. Yes, I believe Florida's doing well. And yes, clearly our economy has come back. But I will say to you, this is not the time to be complacent. This is not the time to sit back. This is not the time to sit on our laurels. This is the time to double back, put the foot to the accelerator, and push forward. And I know everyone in this room agrees with that last statement. One of my biggest fears, as I've told Mark Wilson from the Florida Chamber a number of times, one of my greatest fears is complacency. My business, large or small, my business is doing well. We don't need to work as hard. No. My business is doing well, but we can do better. This is the time to really push. This is the time to make your business even more profitable. And of course, you're in the state where you have that opportunity to be what? More of that profit in your back pocket. But this is the time to really look for opportunities to expand, to grow in our state. There's no question we have challenges. This was a very difficult legislative session. We all recognize that. Our governor, to his credit, did what he said he would do. Those projects which were funded, which did not go through a vetted process, he vetoed. Now again, that made him probably not the most favorable guy in some places around the state, or certain individuals. But the governor's true to his word. The governor believes that these are the taxpayer. It's our money, not government's money. And I would venture to say next session in January, if a project is funded, if it hasn't gone through a vetted process, it will probably be vetoed again. Now, what does that represent to us at EFI? What does that represent to those of you, all of us in this room? It means we have a greater challenge working with our legislative partners relative to the importance of funding the toolkit. The governor had requested $85 million of incentive money for the toolkit. That's money that we at EFI work with you in Orlando, in Palm Beach, and around the state to incentivize companies to either expand or to move here. Out of the 85, it was a disappointing number at $43 million. But we don't give up. We don't cry. We what? We redouble the efforts to focus on the importance of showing respect to our Florida legislators, to having them understand the importance of what we do, not EFI, what you and I do together, you as our partners. This is the time that we need to really focus over these next several months to let legislators from around the state and those legislators in your community understand the importance of the competitive environment in which we play. Without these dollars, we're clearly at a disadvantage to states like the Carolinas, Tennessee, Texas. But we will not lose our spot because we, you and I, are determined to continue to grow the economy, to continue to prosper, which means that we redouble our efforts. We find other ways to help incentivize companies to move to our state and to expand in our state. It means that you and I have to be more creative, innovative. We must work closer together. And I ask, this will be my final ask as I close my remarks, for your help, your support, because I and my board of directors at EFI cannot do it alone. I'd be remiss if I did not thank you for your support, for your help last March, last April, and during special session in June, for the support that you gave from your community, from your leaders, to those state legislators from your region to support the toolkit, to support the funding and marketing effort. So yes, disappointed that we didn't get the requested 85. It makes this obviously a more difficult challenge for us. But let me tell you something, the companies that are calling in, we're not saying, oh, we're closed. No, 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 no. Those companies calling in saying, I'm interested in being in Jacksonville or Orlando or in Tampa or in Palm Beach. We're working with those companies and we're going to work with you because we don't want to turn anyone away. The governor and I have talked about it. We get a fish on the hook, but he may need to ask for a special session. We may not have the money in the toolkit today, but we are not going to lose that Fortune 50 company. Not if we can help it. So the good news, and you heard it already, a first for us. Not EFI, for us. This is the first, and thank you for the support on getting 10 million, of which 8.5 million is recurring. 8.5 million recurring. Thanks to our Speaker of the House. Thanks to leadership from people like Eric Szilagyi on my board and the President and CEO of FP&L and Stan Conley from Gulf Power and many of your companies and many of you for the support in securing that first ever 10 million of marketing money. This will enable us, our organization working with you, to really mount an intelligent, appropriate marketing campaign to tell our story, the Florida story, the real story. And of course, we're excited about this opportunity. We are truly excited about this opportunity. The responsibility that we have, in particular I as the CEO of this organization, to make sure that we properly, adequately, appropriately, transparently spend down this money efficiently, timely, is paramount. Or there will be lack of support from the Florida legislature in the future. The big opportunity is what? The big opportunity is for you and I to work closer together. You and I to work educating, showing respect to our Florida legislators, thanking them for their support of the 10 million to the marketing campaign. For the 43 million we did receive, we could have got 0. Thank you very much, Florida legislature. But we need what? We need a higher level of funding. And these projects pay handsomely. Under statute, projects that we work on have a standard in terms out of the governor's closing fund, a 5-to-1 ROI. 5-to-1. For every dollar we give you of state money, the return on that investment is typically 5-to-1. We need to make sure our legislators understand this, and that these are dollars well spent. Clearly, we don't want to be disadvantaged. Clearly, we don't want to be, at sort of out of the contest, out of the game with Texas. Our competitor states understand that our full funding is not there. But I think they also understand our resolve, our determination to not lose ground. Third most populated state, I look at Arkansas. In July 1, Arkansas got a $50 million toolkit. If I look at Texas and other states, but I prefer not to look at what other states have. I prefer to look at Florida and what Florida can and should have as setting the mark. It means that I and you, we need to do a better job in the district with legislators, telling them what's happened over the last 3 or 4 years. That's our responsibility, EFI. We need to educate our legislators in terms of the successes, the Hertz Corporation. I can go through every single community and talk about the win, talk about the job generations from those dollars, those important state dollars that help bring that deal in. It is our responsibility, starting with me, to make sure that our legislators understand in a respectful way what those state resources help make happen. Topping my priority list, I think you all probably know, in addition to receiving, if you will, a higher level of funding for the toolkit, clearly one of my top priorities is to get the message out globally, to sell the brand. And to do that, we need to refresh and to basically have a new brand. I'm clearly excited about this. I want the rest of the world to know what you and I know. Everyone knows about our beautiful beaches and our beautiful, beautiful water, our great climate, more golf courses than any state in the nation. We have lots of things to be proud of, lots of things to be bragging about, including our natural resources. It's overall quality of life. And typically what brings a company here may not be the incentive dollars, because we're typically on the lower end of the incentive dollars. It's typically the quality of life. It's what Florida has to offer in your particular community. So these are tremendous assets. But we must better showcase, we must better sell Florida, the Florida that you and I know, to others around the world. Including what? Infrastructure. Our state leads the nation again this year in investment in infrastructure, our rail, our road, our airports, our seaports. Our skilled workforce, a highly skilled, trained workforce. It's one of the most important things bringing a new company or an expanding company looks for. A diverse workforce. We look like what the rest of America will look like in the coming years. Yet if you were to take a survey, most people think of Florida as a bunch of old white men in a rocking chair near death's door. We're young, we're hip, we're on the cutting edge, we're diverse. We need to get that message out. Yes, we have a low tax rate, that's important. No inheritance tax, no personal income tax. We're a business-friendly state. We're an environmentally sensitive state. We place great emphasis on education and K-12 and STEM training. We obviously have great expertise in terms of logistics and trade and our place in the global marketplace. The rest of the world needs to know this in a compelling way, just like I've seen on the screen and you saw on the screen a few minutes ago. We need to sell the story in a compelling, thoughtful way. The Florida story, our story. And I look forward to partnering with all of you and your organization as we move forward to develop this competitive campaign. Towards this end, I am launching, which I'm announcing this morning, the second phase of my listening tour. This tour will include what we call cluster meetings. Around the state, 8 zones, and we're going to meet now in your communities with a number of counties and communities and legislators and EFI board members from your region, your communities in these 8 clusters. A greater opportunity now to bring the message, if you will, strongly. And in these meetings, I want to hear directly, as we will over the next day or two, and a lot of my EFI staff is here, we want to hear what's on your mind as it relates to the opportunity to sell and market the state. We need to strategize on how to properly, effectively spin down this $10 million. As I said a moment ago, we must ratchet up our game. I look at companies like FP&L, completely just blown away. I look at the video here and the materials for Orlando. I look at what Disney does and what Publix does. My gosh, we have incredible companies in our state that do an unbelievable, world-class job selling their particular business. You and I got to do the same thing for the state. I'm not a marketing person, but there are experts out there. And we are now about to hit the market on an open, competitive selection process to bring in the firm or firms to do the creative, to help us put together the right compelling story. And it's not selling golf courses, and it's not going to sell the beautiful beaches. Visit Florida does that. We don't want to lose that message, but we want to sell our industries. We want to sell aerospace and aeronautical, and we're a world leader in that. Life sciences. So we want to properly get the message out. I need to hear from you. The world needs to hear from you, and we're going to do that collectively together. In doing so, we need to demonstrate to our legislative partners, to the Florida legislature, that we're responsible, that we can move the needle, not just on marketing, but continue to move the needle to bring high-paying jobs from different industry sectors to this state. While we respect the importance of military, contributing $76 billion to the economy, the importance of agriculture, great job by Commissioner Putnam, unbelievable, again, effort by our tourism people. We need to replicate these success stories in the business community. Again, we have to move the needle on the dial. We can do this through a shared collective vision for the marketing. We have a new strategy and a new structure in place with Team Florida. Team Florida is headed up, and there was just a vote a few weeks ago, by Eric Szilagyi as the president and Kelly Smallridge from Palm Beach as the vice president. This organization, bringing together both our public funds from the $10 million and private monies, $1.4 million raised by our private sector partners, and we want to continue to raise private sector dollars. Many of you in this room have contributed to that campaign. You participate in that, and I pledge to you as we move forward that we at EFI, I as the head of EFI, will work with Team Florida to ensure the right development of the right message. So for your support of Team Florida, my deep appreciation. We're moving forward, obviously, with hopefully everyone in this room. You in this room, my partners, our partners, can help get the word out in your community, in the state. We're all spokespersons for the great state of Florida. It isn't just Rick Scott as our governor. It isn't just me as the head of EFI. It's us together, having fun together, growing the state, and developing incredible memories of a lifetime. I want us to celebrate our successes. The governor loves to get out and have the ribbon cuttings, but let's celebrate that. Something happens down in Palm Beach, yes, celebrate it in Palm Beach, but let's get the news out. I at EFI want to do a better job of communicating with all of my stakeholders consistently, electronically, about the successes of SHAQ USA. What's happening over in Tampa? What's happening around our great state in the Space Coast? I want to celebrate the fact that last Friday, and we're very blessed that the Harris Corporation made the final announcement. They are keeping their global world headquarters here in the state of Florida versus Virginia. Trust me, that was my first test when I started in on March 1st. One of my first phone calls was to Bill Brown, the CEO of Harris Corporation. Behind the scenes discussions. We've got deals like that and more. Over 300 transactions that my team and my staff here in Orlando are working on. Many of them with you. And that's the way it should be. Projects originating with you at the local, regional level. We want to be your supporters and partners. So my expectations are high. I have big dreams and big hopes for the great state of Florida. Yes, I love this state. I signed up to join you, to join Rick Scott, to partner with our Florida legislature. It may sound hokey. I would not have accepted the job at this stage of my life because this job requires 7 days a week. I'm soon to depart for San Francisco to Silicon Valley for 1 day. Okay? We're number 4 in the nation in IT. I want to be number 3, then number 2, number 1. You don't become number 1 unless you go see Google. You don't go and become number 1 unless you're aggressive. I was determined, as Rick Scott was determined, we would not lose Harris. I am determined that I will not lose companies out of our state. We've got to show them the love. We've got to show them the attention and the respect that they're due. I often say in my remarks around the state, the best way to grow the economy is to show attention, respect to the businesses you have. I toured one yesterday, right? I was blown away with Lockheed Martin yesterday. I toured the facilities here in Orlando. Totally blown away. Totally blown away. And I could say that in every single community, because in every single community I've had the opportunity to be a little boy and get in and see manufacturing, see things that are happening in your neighborhood, in your community. I want us to think big. I want us to be the Hong Kong, the Singapore of this hemisphere. I want us to be on the same stage. And not just Miami. I love Miami. But I also thoroughly enjoy my good friends. I have 15 port directors around the state who are all close friends. John Walsh from the great port of Canaveral. These are genuine friends. The airports, great friends. I want us to work together. Not one airport, not one seaport. A system working with you and me growing the state. Let's celebrate our successes. The Harris success for the Space Coast isn't just a success for over on the Space Coast. That's a Florida success. And let's share that. As I close, we will succeed if we have a shared vision. I hope a very big vision, but a shared, clear vision. If we work in a united way to accomplish that vision, as we heard the opening remarks this morning, partnership, not jealousy, partnership. By working together, by thinking big, we can do nothing but succeed. Thank you and have a great conference.